Escape the Undertaker is the first interactive WWE movie on Netflix. You follow the New Day as they search the Undertaker's haunted mansion for the dead man's urn. Since it's interactive, you make choices as you go along, which leads to different things happening. As a result, there's a number of different endings you can get. I've gone through them and ranked every ending in Escape the Undertaker, so let's start with the funniest one. The funniest ending isn't that hard to get. At the start of the movie, we're introduced to the Undertaker as well as his dangerous and powerful urn. After the introduction, Undertaker asks if you're brave enough to wield the urn. You have two options, I'm ready or I'm too scared. I'll show you what happens if you choose the latter. That's right, the movie just ends. The sudden appearance of the credits is funny, but what makes it hilarious is that apparently Undertaker made the entire film on his own. For a dead man, he does get a lot done. This next ending is also pretty funny. If you decide you're ready, then the adventure starts. As the New Day explores Undertaker's home, they realize they need two keys in order to unlock the urn. This eventually leads them upstairs to the library. While the group looks around, Kofi Kingston stumbles upon a secret passageway. If you decide to follow Kofi, he goes through a hidden hallway and discovers the Undertaker's control room. Kingston realizes that Undertaker's been watching them this entire time, but before he can do anything, Kofi hears the Phenom himself approaching. If you choose to stay and face the Undertaker, we see one of WWE's scariest wrestlers walk in with a sandwich. While you and I are laughing at this revelation, Undertaker responds by knocking Kingston to the ground. After taking out Kofi, Taker returns to his snack and takes a bite. I would have never thought that I would see the Undertaker with a sandwich, but that's the power of Netflix. Just don't put any cucumbers on it. This next ending takes some explaining. While looking around the mansion, Big E discovers a bottle of liquid called a power vial. You are given the choice to take it or leave it. If you choose to leave the power vial, this is what happens. At the very end of the movie, the New Day find themselves in Undertaker's workshop and have to fight him. While Kofi and Xavier hold the dead man down, Big E has to decide to either grab the urn or destroy it. If you try to destroy it without the power vial, Woods, Kingston, and Big E are teleported outside the mansion, but without the urn. However, as Xavier says, they're lucky to be alive, so isn't that the real reward? But what happens if you do have the power vial? If you did take the power vial with you and pick the destroy option, Big E drinks the liquid and smashes the urn with a sledgehammer. The entire room goes white, and when the New Day gets up, the Undertaker and the urn are nowhere to be seen. The only thing that remains of the Phenom is his iconic hat. The three men quickly change their attention to an open casket in the room. When they look inside, they get teleported outside the mansion. While the New Day still doesn't leave with the urn, this feels like the best possible ending. As Kofi, E, and Xavier walk away, Undertaker appears on his throne and congratulates you for winning.
Congratulations. You narrowly escaped with your soul. My hat is off to you.
Now we're getting to the really scary endings. After getting all the keys, the Undertaker pulls one more trick on the New Day and teleports them away to face their worst fears. If you follow Big E, the dead man chains up the muscle of the New Day and traps his head in a tank filled with live spiders. The Undertaker offers to free Big E if E joins them so they can rule the underworld together. If you say yes, the Undertaker does free Big E, but still decides to take his soul. In the end, Big E becomes possessed by the Undertaker and his soul is banished to the underworld for all eternity. Unfortunately, it only gets worse from here. If you follow Kofi Kingston and face his fears, it feels actually pretty real. Kingston is forced to relive Vince McMahon telling him he isn't championship material, as well as Brock Lesnar beating him in under 10 seconds for the WWE title. Even worse, Kingston is shown a moment from earlier in the movie where Big E and Xavier Woods thought that Kofi had abandoned them.
Where's Kofi? I bet he abandoned us.
Nobody wants you.
Yeah, probably.
If you choose to give in to the frustration, Kofi Kingston takes the urn and just watch what it does to Kingston. Jeez, that laugh is creepy. However, Kingston soon realizes that the urn is a fake and the Undertaker takes his soul. Before it ends, we see Kofi Kingston walk into the darkness surrounded by the dead man's druids. If you follow Xavier Woods, the WWE star wakes up inside a coffin. No matter how hard he tries, Xavier can't free himself, so the Undertaker makes an offer. The dead man tells Woods to join him and help him defeat Kofi Kingston and Big E. If you agree, Xavier Woods then teleported to Undertaker's workshop where he reunites with his New Day partners. The group comes face to face with the Phenom, and with no other options, they decide to fight him. Undertaker's a tough opponent, but the New Day manages to get the upper hand and lock the dead man up in chains. Just then, Undertaker says the time for Xavier Woods to join him is now, and Woods becomes a servant of the Phenom. Woods and Taker beat Kofi and Big E, and together, they killed him. The last shot we see is of Xavier and Undertaker dragging the bodies of Woods' friends and placing them in caskets. Do I need to say more? It's disturbing, and kind of sad seeing Xavier Woods betray his friends, but it's even scarier seeing him actually take their lives away. Escape the Undertaker has some really cool WWE secrets and references. To see all of those, watch the video on screen.